Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at some trash-picked MacBooks. I found these three computers at an e-waste facility a while back, and I just picked these up figuring they would make a neat video. I have no idea if these worked. I've not powered them on at all or even attempted to do anything with them. And if you're wondering, one of these computers is from early 2008, one of them from early 2009, and the one on the bottom here is from mid-2010. It's one of the unibody MacBooks. They all have Core 2 Duos inside, and well, that's actually all I know because I've not tried to power these on. Like I said, I've not taken them apart yet. I want to do all that on camera here with you guys, and I actually want to take apart all of these before we even attempt to power them on, just to make sure it's got, like a hard drive and RAM inside of it. And we actually need to take apart this bottom one because its battery, well, you can probably see it's pretty bloated. In fact, the trackpad here has literally popped out of the case because of how bloated that it is. These other two here have the more easily removable batteries, and they were already removed when I got them. So we are going to take these apart anyway, and I think we're going to start with this one just because I really want to get that battery out of here and, set it aside so I can dispose of it. Now, one of the things I did do before I brought these computers into the studio is I cleaned them up a little bit because they were pretty dirty, especially this one here. The bottom just had so much dirt. You can see there's actually still some on it, but I mean, I figured if I do end up keeping these and not just parting them out, I'm going to want to just do a full disassembly so I can do a proper cleaning of all of the, parts of the case. So yeah, we're just going to start by opening up the bottom here, just by removing all these screws. And you can actually see that the battery, with it being so bulged, has already popped out the bottom plastic piece a little bit, but we're just going to go around and kind of work that out. And there we go. Okay, so it looks like we've got a hard drive, we've got RAM, that's awesome. And there is one screw there for the battery. We're just going to unscrew that, which that doesn't look like a Phillips bit, actually. Yep, that's one of those Y bits or tri bits, whatever you want to call them. So I've got that on here, and there's also that other one over here as well. There's also some screws down here at the bottom that I almost missed because they kind of blend in with the battery. So are these Phillips? They are Phillips. Like, what are you doing, Apple? You gotta use, like, two different screws on the same component. Like, I mean... And, of course, we have a lovely sticker here that says, "Do not remove the battery," which, of course, we're just gonna disregard because I certainly want this thing to be completely removed from here. Yeah, that is really bulged. Oh, you can actually see the insides of it. We just gotta reach into this connector with our little spudger here and disconnect it, and... there we go. This is going aside to be disposed of. Alright, so now that we've got a fire hazard out of the way, we can take a little look inside the computer here. I mean, as you already saw, it's got RAM, it's got a hard drive, we've got the disk drive here. This is a 250 gigabyte Hitachi hard drive, of course Apple branded, so this is probably the original one. And let's see if we can see the memory here. I think this thing has 2 gigabytes of RAM. Yeah, we've got 2 RAM modules, and oh no, it's actually 4 gigabytes, because one of these is 2 gigabytes. And not surprisingly, the other one is 2 gigabytes as well, so we've got 4 total. So we'll just pop those back in. And, I mean, I think what we'll do, I'm just going to leave the bottom off of this thing while I power it on, just in case I have to get back in. I mean, well, I'll, like, put it, back on just over it, but I'm not going to screw it back on. But before I power this on, let's actually swap over to the other two models and just verify that they have RAM and everything inside. So we'll start with this one right here. This one is, let me just verify because I have all this stuff written down. This one is EMC 2242, which is the early 2008 one, so this is the earliest MacBook out of these three. Well, it looks like we've got memory in here, so let's just take a look at the sizes. So we've got a 1 gigabyte Samsung module, and I imagine this other one here is going to be the same. Yep, that's another 1 gigabyte Samsung module, so we are good there. I guess I'll just set this aside for now. I've noticed a handful of missing screws, so this computer was definitely taken apart before. Now, let's just get this up here, and we need to very carefully... we actually have to go around and pry some of this up. Alright, moment of truth. Do we have a hard drive? We actually got to be super careful here because there is Yeah, the keyboard cable is like right here, and we got to just disconnect that. There we go. So this should come right off. And you can already see that we have a hard drive right here. So this is another Hitachi. It's a 120 gig. So this machine is pretty much good to be powered on and, see if it actually works, which, there might be some problem with the logic board or whatever. So we'll go ahead and set this aside for now. I'm just gonna leave it like this. We should be able to power it on with the keyboard and everything disconnected, so I might just plug in an external one. And our last MacBook, this is the early 2009 one, so a year newer than the one we just took a look at. And it also has the battery removed from the bottom. It's also got 287 written on it. This one also has a post-it note inside of here. This actually has the specifications. So we've got a 2 gigahertz Core 2 Duo, 4 gigabytes of RAM, a GeForce 9400M, and there's the serial number right there too. So that's nice. This might have been, my guess is these computers probably came, if they all came from the same place, it might have been used in like a business or something, and this was probably in like a, storage closet as like an old machine that was just, not being used anymore, and they just marked the specifications on it just so that whoever used it next or came across it would know. But we're just going to disassemble this one really quickly. Might as well start with the RAM down here. It looks like we do have some memory. So, we saw on the spec sticker there that this was 4 gigs of RAM. I imagine these are the same. Oh no, it's Crucial RAM this time. So we've got a 2 gigabyte stick there, and we most likely have a 2 gigabyte stick over here. Yep, there it is. Oh, and look at this. We're missing a hard drive on this laptop. So yeah, good thing that I took this apart. So we'll still try to power this on. I actually think I've got a drive that I can put in here. Of course, it's not going to have Mac OS or anything on it. And really, the main thing that I want to do when I get these things powered on is see what's on the hard drive. So I'm just going to verify that this machine works, and we'll probably set it aside for now. Or at least we'll save it just to take a look at last, so we can explore the drives on the other two and, see what versions of OS X that they're running. If any, they could just be completely formatted. So we will stick the RAM back in. So I think we'll just start out with the early 2008 one. I am just going to leave the keyboard and everything off, again, just in case I gotta get back in here. So we're just going to plug in a USB keyboard for now, and I've got a mouse plugged into that, and we will connect our MagSafe connector and see if we get a light, which we do. And it just automatically powered on for us. That's great. Okay, so I can see the screen. It looks like that the backlight is out in the screen. I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but there is, there is stuff. Let me see if I can, yeah, you see, like, there is stuff on the screen. I know you'll just have to take my word for this because you can't see it, but the brightness controls are on screen, like, within system preferences, and it is all the way up. So it's definitely just that the backlight in this screen is just broken. I don't have a replacement display, but I'm wondering if, maybe the early 2009 MacBook, maybe the screen in that one works and we can just swap over the hard drive to it. It's worth a shot, so why don't we try that? Okay, well, I was hoping that this power button on the external keyboard would work, because the way that these power buttons work, it's not like it's actually pressing down on something up here in the corner. I believe the signal just gets passed through the data cable here. We got a startup chime, that's good, although it doesn't really look like we're getting much activity going on the screen, so this might be a similar fate with this laptop. Yep, it's given the blinking question mark. We just, of course, can't see it because the backlight in the screen is shot. Dang. Okay, I was really hoping that, I was really hoping we'd be able to just kind of make one working machine out of these two. Alright, just a quick note here. I wanted to point out that I did look into this some more, and it turns out that the first place to start in troubleshooting a backlight problem in one of these MacBooks is to replace the display inverter instead of the entire LCD itself. This is what iFixit recommends. If you go to their guide for replacing a Core 2 Duo's inverter, it says, screen have no backlight, replace the inverter. So it could be caused by the inverter itself, it could be the inverter cable, or it could actually be the LCD. iFixit it sells these things for $15 each, and for that price, I might as well just buy 2 of them and try to see if that is the problem with those 2 MacBooks, and I may end up making that into a future video. We'll see. Let's see if this last one, what I'm hoping is the situation with this last one is that it was just thrown away because it had a bulged battery and the people, you know, didn't know how to fix it, or, you know, just didn't really want to deal with it because it was too old of a machine. I'm hoping that, you know, the other components in it will actually work. I should also mention all of these have cosmetic damage. I mean, you see this one here probably fell at some point. There's a big old chip out of here near the power connector. This side, you really just have some like light scratches and stuff. Nothing too terrible. I mean, you got like a little chip there, so I mean, it's certainly not in the best condition, that's for sure. But if this works, I mean, that would be really great. Now, the trackpad looks to be still connected to the logic board, and the wiring doesn't look damaged, so that's a good sign. Hopefully this works. Of course, if it doesn't, it's not a huge deal. I could just plug in a USB mouse. Yeah, let's go ahead and plug it in, and we'll see if the screen works. Look at that. All right, so, oh, it's actually resuming. Holy cow. So it looks like El Capitan, maybe? Or no, upgrade to El Capitan. So that means this is running Yosemite then. And yeah, check that out. The trackpad works. Do the buttons work, though? I don't, it certainly does not seem to. I imagine we'll have to, oh, what? Okay, well... Evidently, it thinks I'm entering, like my finger is pressed on a key or something. It's just entering a whole bunch of stuff there. Yeah, that's not what I want to do. But yeah, okay, let me just plug in a keyboard. We'll go to about this Mac, so let's see what the exact specific, I mean, well, we already know. I mean, aside from the processor speed, which you could just look this up, but it's a 2.4 gigahertz Core 2 Duo, mid-2010, 13-inch. So I know how to read the model number on the bottom. And yeah, NVIDIA GeForce 320M, 256 megs, and 10.10.5 is the specific version that we are running. So yeah, that's exciting. So we have a working computer out of these 3. Aside from the trackpad and maybe the keyboard on here, like, no, the keyboard works, at least at first glance there. Although apparently, is like the shift key stuck down or something? Because caps lock is off and it's still typing in caps up there. So it might be a case of like the shift keys. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. So the shift keys were kind of stuck down. But let me just open up, looks like we got Word on here. So why don't I open that up and we'll do a quick keyboard test and just go through all the keys and make sure they work. So let's see, QWERTY. Okay, so QWE is not working, R does not work, or wait a second, there's R. Yeah, E does not work. T does not work. Y, U, I, O, P, and now it's, okay, so something is evidently causing the keyboard to just get stuck, and it's doing it again. So yeah, keyboard, there's definitely something wrong with with the keyboard here. We'll just back out of that and close. Yeah, let's maybe just let's see what programs we got on here, and I am going to once we power this thing down, I'll take the hard drive out of the early 2008 MacBook. We'll put that in here and see what OS that's running and everything. Under applications, all right, I see a bunch of Adobe stuff. Is that CS6? Yep, that's CS6. Looks like we had a, oh, and the keyboard is, yeah, just making us go all the way to the bottom when we click on here, I think, maybe? At least it was doing that. But yeah, so we got Adobe, that's nice. So this was probably used for creativity work of some kind. And yeah, that's very annoying. The keyboard's definitely kind of going out of whack here. I'm just gonna have to hold on this scroll bar here to actually advance down the list. So we got, let's see, Disk Maker 10. We've got the installation program for Yosemite, iMovie, of course, all the standard Apple stuff. Office 2011, of course. We've got Super Duper and Toast 10 Titanium. In terms of documents, we don't have a whole lot. I just have some folders for Adobe, Adobe Flash, Microsoft Office, streamer videos, downloads. We've just got a few DMGs for things like Flash Player, Silverlight, Super Duper, Office 2011. And yeah, let's actually go to About This Mac here. I want to go into our storage and see what we're using. And yeah, it's not like we have a lot on here. So we have 197 gigs free of our 250 gig drive, and we don't have any other partitions on here. I mean, the drive is 250 gigs, so I mean, it all showed up in About This Mac, so I mean, there's obviously nothing else on here. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and just shut down the computer. And I'm going to go ahead and swap the other drive from the early 2008 MacBook into here. We got the thing powered on, we got the hard drive, you know, the other hard drive put in, and it looks like we are running Lion, is my guess? 10.7.5, yep. And we got a 2.4 gigahertz, I mean, well, why am I reading the specs? They're the same. We got the same specifications that we had in this computer before, because I didn't change anything else. And yeah, I mean, it looks like we do have a folder here on the desktop, but nothing really different in the dock or anything. We don't have like a different wallpaper. We actually just have the default wallpaper on both of the, you know, installs that we've taken a look at. We got some things in downloads. Let's see, a copy program, it looks like. Let's go to documents. Yeah, it looks like this thing was just wiped. I mean, we have like a username here in this folder on the desktop, but nothing else. Just your basic applications. I mean, nothing special there. But yeah, nothing in photos. I mean, we have iChat icons. These are just like the basic ones, it looks like. At least I think. I'm not really super familiar with iChat. But yeah, we got like fruit, got flowers, flags, and stuff. Yeah, nothing in documents, like I said, nothing in downloads aside from this, and yeah, I mean, it looks to be a pretty bare bones install, so good on these people for wiping the hard drive. So, you know, it's always good, and I always, you know, try to throw in a PSA in these videos. If you're going to throw away your old computers, or, you know, give them away to somebody, or do whatever where you're not going to have them anymore, be sure to wipe the hard drives, or at least take the hard drive out and keep it. But hey, I mean, 1 out of these 3 MacBooks working, that's a victory in my book. I mean, I wasn't expecting much considering that all of these were thrown in the garbage. But, you know, when I just saw them at that garbage facility, I was like, hey, this might make a cool video for the channel. Maybe I could grab these and see if I could get them up and running again. And I mean, they all had problems, technically. I mean, this one had the bulged battery. The other 2 have the display issue. So I do have to buy some parts if I want to get these things, like, fully restored. This video right here was more of just an impromptu, like, initial diagnosis type of thing. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, maybe consider becoming a patron or a channel member to get early access to these videos in the future before anybody else. But either way, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.